Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining Tokyo session. Just about to open in 10 minutes. We've looked at Forex Factory. There's some red flag US dollar news, but not until about 12 hours time. No, about 8 hours time. No, wait a minute, I'm wrong. Later this evening anyway. So depending on what your time zone is, it'd be 8 p.m. I'm UTC +2. If we look at our currency strength meter, the US dollar is the weakest. And there's more red flag on news later this week on the dollar as well. So let's have a look at HourGlass. And this gives us the dollar in real time. When the market opens, it's not come up at the moment. We've got very low movement on Usdjpy. It is paying out at 83%. I've done some chart markups, but it hasn't moved obviously a great deal till the market opens, which will be here. One thing I was going to talk to you about was how to start to press the button on live trades. You may have a broker where like IQ Cent, where you can swap and do it in cents. So just do 1 cent trades, because it's just about driving. It's about it's like driving. It's about the repetition, pressing the button, learning to be able to spot the trade and then press the button. If you haven't already, do 100 demo trades using that system. You will get more proficient at thinking you're okay to press the button on, because this is a time-based strategy. So if you haven't got a broker where you can change to a very, very low amount of money and trade in cents while you get the confidence about taking live trades, then make sure you've done 100 demo trades on one system. In this case, this is HFX, before you go onto your live account. So if we look at the daily, let's look at how, while we're waiting for the market to open, you can see that the dollar has been in a big downward trend. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, just finishing this wave down. Now that's a daily level down at 583. And then we've got the quarter theory just below at 500. It's hit that level a lot back there as a line of resistance. And it started its upward trend in April. And it's just topped out up there. That's on its way back down from that high up there of 110,079. And if we look on the hourly, coming down, starting to come down to the levels, areas where we trade on the 5 minute, then you can see that yesterday it pretty much dropped the entire day, and then in New York did a little bit of a retrace back up here, but we know it's still in a downward trend, and the 15 minute has been pretty much leveled off. So down in New York, not much of a movement up, and let's see, it's still in a downward trend. Lower highs if you put the pivots on. There's our lower low right down at that 573, 579 area. And we'll come to our 5 minute, and you can see it's just about, it's got higher highs, lower highs. It's just about to hit a yellow hourly line, which I drew on just before the session started. and you've got the auto support behind it. So it's giving us a put score of 5, and we've got 4 minutes to go. So it's above our midline on the Bollinger Bands. Remember, there's very slow movement, not much movement in Sydney. We need to wait until market open anyway. And we've got our red 200 EMA. We've got it in the overbought area. This is saying at the moment that currency strength is much stronger than the Japanese yen, which is at odds with what my currency strength meter is telling me. US dollar, on Finviz, which is a daily relative performance, it is stronger on the daily. So I think that's why, because that's taking a daily one, it'll change as we get to the market open. Whoops. Two minutes to go. And that does say, it does say hidden bull here. So we'll just wait for market open. So I was just saying, if you are the confidence in pressing the button, this time-based trading or any system, if you've got a broker where you can take trades in 1 cent, then you can take obviously 100 trades for $1, or do demo 100 trades, just very low amount. But it's about like learning to drive. It's about just programming the brain, subconscious brain. You need just the repetition. And then I do remember back to being so fearful about that, and in the end I just had to take the plunge. You know, it's very difficult at the very beginning, so you have to I just sat here and just took as many trades as I could on demo in any spare time, and then from that I switched to the lowest amount of money I possibly could and took several that way. It's simply about the repetition. Put score of 5. So our price is right up at 809 on, it is at 83%, 809 on the broker. And that's market open. So we've got this put score of 5. We've got the 200 EMA above us. We've got it overbought. It's given us a put at 806. So I've got currency strength meter not in my favor. That's just changed to 2 now, so it might be pushing up a bit, 808. But I've got on Finviz, which is a daily average, days relative performance, I've got US dollar higher than the Japanese yen. But on my currency strength on this one, oh, it hasn't now switched. It was the other way around a minute ago, so it is a little bit stronger. So 803, and it's just dropping. Now, the reason I thought it might do that is because it doesn't always do this. You have to be careful, but it had higher high there and it had a lower high. and I looked at the overall trend before setting up for this session, and it has been in a strong downward trend now. Because we're trading at very small low time frames, a 3-minute candle and a 5-minute, that doesn't really affect us, but it helps give you the confidence when you know what the trend generally is and whether you're trading a retrace or trading with the trend, because the trend is our friend. So if I come over to this, we've just cleared that one. So you see how it spiked right up to 826. So I don't always recommend that you do this. And on the Tokyo session, I find that there's 1 or 2 good trades, like on the hour and the half hour, maybe 3, and then the open of the next hour. In my case, that'll be 3 a.m. And then after that, generally, it's kind of quite slow. You know, it's the banks just, as Les says, buying and selling between each other until about 5 a.m., which is the 12 midnight EST, European Eastern Standard Time candle. So that's how we work it out. Let me just pin this. So now we've got that one. Now I'm going to change this lot size. I'm going to be, because I put my profit from the previous one on this. Now we've done one trade at 83%. I'm going to stick with UJ. There is red flag news 8 p.m. my time, which is UTC +2. And there's some more red flag tomorrow. So again, that's not going to affect us on this session. It's coming back up. So I'm going to be very cautious about the second or possibly third trade because of what I've just done on the compounding. And the brokers have changed the rules on the rollover. So if we get full 3 minutes for the first rollover, which increases our risk 30%. So you've got to make sure you are not highly leveraged. And then after that, it'll just give you a percentage of time. So we've now got, so we have got 3 minutes. So there, you see, that was what I traded, that market open where it's wicked down, but we know now that the US dollar is stronger, 34 to 13, and the trend is generally up. So that trade I just took is not really for everyone to just simply do, oh, I've seen, you know, a higher high and a lower high, therefore I'll take a put, because you can get caught out. But generally when I've done back testing, which I did do about 10 days worth of looking back and writing down what happened at market open on UJ, generally if I saw this, then I knew I could take a put at market open whilst it sets itself up for the day, if you like. And now it's done that, and now it's going to carry on in the direction it wants to go in. So generally that looked to me like it would work. Now we can see here also it's got hidden bull, meaning directional trend, as you can see if we drew a trend line. So work out first of all which way you think the market is going. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to put this on particularly accurately, but you can tell quite clearly whichever way you put that, however many touches you get. That's a nice, that is a nice trend line there. That it's support used as it's a line of support, a trend line. That's what a trend line is, and you can see that it is respecting it. I mean, it's dipped through it there, but that's what the trend is telling you, that the trend is up. When it starts to break that trend and retest it to the downside, so a break of trend line and a retest, then you know that trend line is broken and the direction has changed. So if I want to look at the 1 minute to see where that moving average is on the 1 minute, the 200 moving average, and that on the 1 minute has moved beneath. There's our market open, so you can see how price came off that hourly line. I took that put down there, which is a white for a daily, yellow for hourly, and purple for 15 minutes. There is our higher low coming in, and now we know the trend is up. and our daily is up there. Daily line is a white line, 874. It's heading up to 874. So that's what we are. So when you know, again, like driving, you want to know from the map which way you're going, what you think you're doing. So you know now that you're looking really for calls, and it's going to want to touch that 200 EMA as a rolling line of support and resistance, and that's very near. I'm not saying it's definite, but that's the kind of thinking. So what we're looking for, it's 6 minutes past. I like to stick, if I can, it's not precise science. So sometimes this, my London session, I took a trade at 35 past. It wasn't that successful. And about Taylor's session that I was on, where he took a Euro USD trade, and someone commented in our messenger chat, these big traders always look like they're winning even if they're not. That trade did win, and the whole point about that Euro USD, he was totally accurate in exactly this. He'd looked at the trend, he said, I can read the chart, the trend is up. When we get that pullback, I'm going in on Euro USD for a call or a buy, a call. That is what he did. All that happened, and we've always said it, is that if price doesn't choose one major level to use as support or resistance, it will choose the next one up or down as its major line of support or resistance. That trade exploded upwards, exactly what what Taylor said. It didn't do it exactly at the time he said. It did it about 3 minutes later or the next section later, and he was fine on his first entry at 1. But it did it off the quarter theory. It did it off the 250 line. It didn't go at, I think he took the trade at 304. It dipped to 250 and then it went. So that any person that makes an inane comment like that simply hasn't understood how to read these lines and levels. I could see that on Matty's trade, that it carried on down. It didn't mean it wasn't winning. It meant price said, you know what, like a magnet, I'm going to hit that 250 point before I bounce up. And it bounced up, it skyrocketed. So completely ridiculous comments. So if price is going to move, it uses a line, one of these lines, or the orange line, which is the quarter theory, one of these orange dotted lines, as its line of support and resistance. And then it will turn, and sometimes it uses this 200 EMA, which is why we have these lines on, because that's all they're doing is telling us where what price wants to do. And the auto support of these blue and green, you might have them in blue and red. I like green. So I'm on the 5 minute. I'm just coming up to the next candle. That gave us a put score of 1, but that was the market open. It's surfing up the Bollinger Bands. It's in the overbought area. We've got the US dollar at 36 to 17. It's paying out at 83%. Now the problem, if you want to call it a problem, is we've got our 200 EMA pushing it down. So price is in transition. If it's going to carry on up over this next hour, then it'll be in a crossover period. So technically we should really only be taking puts. It's in a transition phase because the 200, I know I want to take calls, but at the moment price has been pushed down, and I know the US dollar has been in a strong downward trend. So at the moment I should really look at puts, but on the other hand the currency strength meter is not in our favor. So I am tempted to take another put on this, possibly, but it's not the most brilliant setup, because obviously I'd like that 200 EMA to have then, I would have liked price to have transitioned, and for this moving average to have come right down, and then it supports price, it moves underneath it, and it turns green. That's really what we're looking for, but it's just the phase that UJ is in its pattern it's making in the market. And we'll have a look at that in a minute. So this is the 10 past. It's at 839, 836 on the broker. It's in that overbought area. It's just wicking off there. Now I'm going to be very cautious about these trades. So let's come back to the hourly, and if we look at the hourly, you know, that does look like a retrace. This is an hourly because we've got a double top here. That's called a double top, and it's moved down, retrace, down, retrace, down, retrace. So that's, I think, you know what it's been doing. It's off these daily white lines, stalled out, daily white lines, stalled out. And there's that one of, is that a white line there as well? I think I've got a white one there, which is this level at the 876. Yeah, oh, is that, oh, it's a yellow one. That's an hourly line at that level. So price is mitigating out, taking out some of this sell-off because it needs price to come and take out the money that's sat up there as the retail traders all piled in. It's formed that lower low. This is on the hourly. On the 15-minute, still going up. So its level is, oh, and in fact, there's that whole number again. That's the 110.000. That's a significant whole number. So it broke through that on the hourly, it retested it, formed that lower low. It's left money up at this level. Some point it wants to come back up and collect it. You can see the 200 moving average is coming down to meet it. I don't know if it'll actually do that, and I don't know if it will do that on this session, but it kind of gives me some things to think about. 13 minutes past, so as you know, market timing. I'm interested in trades on the hour, the 15-minute, and particularly the hour and the 30-minute on any trading session I do. It gives me much more confidence to stick to that Evan Cabral's market timing and the 45-minute. But my favorite is just the hourly and the half hour, especially at 83%, because if you know this, if you just stick with it and get used to doing this on smaller amounts, once you start using that compound spreadsheet and your account starts to get larger, you can start to take out 10% withdrawal per week and still see your money grow. You will only want to be doing 1 or 2 trades an hour or a day, if that. That's all you'll need, and you won't want to be just clicking the button because you won't need to. So 14 minutes past. I have got it in that overbought area. It is a put on the dollar, but it is in the oversold area. The dollar tells us in real time its strength against a basket of other currencies. So we can see ahead of deciding to take the trades on our pairs involving the US dollar, what we think the dollar is doing, so that this is in real time. It comes up before our trade idea comes up on the 5-minute. So it is just giving us, just going to change now. It's given us a call. The dollar is a call. It's in the oversold area. Usdjpy for a call at 821. It's been surfing up here. So the only thing is, we know it's going up. We've got the red moving average, so it's 821, 824, 826 on the broker as a call. I haven't taken it, you'll notice, but I could just take, this is how you practice. I could just take a $1, 82, oh, hang on, 828. I'm just taking a call. It's not going to be, I'm not going to use this as one of my logged real-time, real-live trades. It's just to show you this is how you learn once you come off demo. So talk out loud, practice your setups, look at your levels on those lines. I write them down, so I've got a quick, I don't always then look at it, but if I put some asterisks that I write against like 110, and then I've written down my daily levels, 500, which was a quarter point, and 573, things like that. Once you've done that, then move when you can. You can on IQ take trades in cents, so you could do 100 1-cent trades. I've done $1 because I haven't switched it to the cents, and that gives you the confidence. I spoke out loud about how this trade setup looked. I spoke out loud about whether I'm on with people or doing it myself. I sometimes on my own I speak out loud. What I thought it was doing, and that my concern was that 200 EMA, but I think it's in transition. We've got the currency strength, blah, 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 all that kind of thing. And then I said, okay, then we'll just put $1 on. Let's see if what my thinking is plays out. Well, my thinking's played out, hasn't it? 1724, I've got 20 seconds left to go. There's 828. It had done that retrace back. It was 15 minutes on the market timing. Here's these 826, 824, that level down there is 812. We'll go and look at our lines, see if that matches up. And that gives you the confidence. You think, oh, wow, that cleared. I was right. So that's how you'll get the confidence to press the button. Should have taken that, shouldn't I? And then we would have been done for the session. So let's look at our, on the 5 minute, it's come off. So actually it's not quite off one of my levels. So I'll just check back by putting this on the hour. So just need to adjust my lines, my hourly. So 806 was the level. It called it at 821. Let me just, so as obviously time moves on, you may be adjusting or putting on new lines. And I did see Matty draw lines, but he said he doesn't have to always draw them because obviously he knows how to read the market. This is a highly significant level because it's got a 15-minute, a white daily and a yellow at that 806 level. Now, the trade was called at the 15 minutes past at 812. Somewhere, so just at this hourly line was round about where the trade was called by HourGlass, and you can see it's moved up very well using one of these levels. That pink one is a 5 minute, was a 5 minute resistance. So let's use that level there, and you can see that candle close on the previous blue. This is on the hourly. So as we drill down, go down the lower level, it'll be tighter on the numbers. But you had a blue buy candle close at the level it opened, and that was the 15-minute trade that we just took. So I'm was adjusting my hourly line slightly. That yellow one is, although that's a previous bit far back now. So actually I'm going to put it on that high of that candle, and then if I clone that, I'll just move that to the open of this one where we took the trade. That's my levels on the hourly, and you just need to do the previous candle really, but these lines still stand from previous hours. They're down at the 15-minute. I'm now looking, by the way, for 30-minute trade. So at the 15-minute I use the purple. Time has moved on, so I'm just going to move that. That was the height on that. I'm looking at the previous high of that candle at 846, and the low 765. Oh, I cloned it and put it right where I couldn't see it. This is on 15 minutes. 824. there. I'll just take one of these ones down. 806. So again, I'm just trying to show you where we took the trade on that 15-minute one, on the 5-minute one. So I've just marked purple height, close, open, and the low. This is a micro pivot where it's just given us a green arrow, but it hasn't actually labeled it, showing that the move up is a bit weaker. It's a stronger move up when it actually stamps it lower high or higher low. And finally to the 5-minute. So you don't need to rush. Sometimes I don't rush, but I feel pressure to take a trade. I do actually prefer the Tokyo session. I find the London one, I feel a bit more pressurized. And it's funny, you know, psychology affects us all because, you know, you don't want to lose on the live sessions. And, you know, it just gets a bit like that. 821. So there's that level. We took that trade, which HourGlass called. So now we're down on the 5-minute. You can see it was, I forget the exact number, but it was around about that level. Wasn't exactly the right thing to do from the analysis that I gave you. Now it could have dipped down to 816. So let's say we were on Taylor Mark's session. He said everything I've said, and I'm going in for a call on UJ, and I'm going to take it. So he'd been on the previous one at 820, 822 or 823, just at the close of the green sell candle, the retrace and price. And then people said, oh, you know, he's sounding like he's winning, but he isn't. Now there isn't much of a wick on there, but it could have been because price chose to dip down. Say that wick was lower, price chose to dip down to 816. In other words, it didn't take the 15-minute level, it took the yellow hourly level. That's all that's happening. So the person or the people that say these things, they're just not reading, they're just showing that they haven't learned to read the charts properly yet. And that's why when we get into the rollovers, we've now got to be super cautious because the rollover situation's changed. And you get the first full 3 minutes, but after that, you're only going to get, you're not going to get the full 3 minutes. So you only need to be doing a much lower order size because you've got to be confident. You're going to have to make a decision. Do I roll over because I know price is about to smash through the roof because I've analysed the chart and I can see the setup and HourGlass confirms it? Or do you then say, oh gosh, no, actually it's turned the other way, or it's wicked down so much and then you're timed out, you know, like that big wick there. So that's why it's fewer trades, talk out loud, analyze and confidence, so that if you get into that rollover situation, very low order size, you've got the confidence to press the button, to press the button for the rollover because you know it's just choosing a lower level if it's a call or a higher level if it's a put. So we're coming up 824. It's meeting up now with a 15-minute line at 846. I'll come over and look at HourGlass in a minute. It's top of my, there's a higher high and a lower high. This is on the 1 minute. There's 842 candle close channels there. It's rejecting off that. I'll come back to my 5 minute and look at HourGlass. So it's surfed all the way up, strong upward trend, retrace up ever since market open. So it's still going up. 847 coincides exactly with our 15-minute line and our line of auto support, which is an indicator. Got the 200 moving average. Price is now looking like it's wanting to bust through because we have a call on the dollar strength. Which is off our midline, which is a rolling line of support and resistance. So the dollar says buy, it looks like it's moving up. that it will smash through that line of resistance. There's a little red line there. It may not, but you know, that's what it's looking like it's doing. That was our market market open. It's formed a new line of support, and it's come right up to the midline. So it's come off this lower level. It says call. UJ a minute ago, 25 past candle, said call. Oh, look at that go. So it's in the overbought area. It's 39 to 17. We know that it has increased in strength. I'm just refreshing my currency strength meter. It's now 4 bars to 1 against the yen. Oh, there she blows. Gone right back up. Not right back up. Gone up to take this level, which has a it's got a yellow hourly. It's at 875. The yellow hourly line, an auto support, and it's got a blue previous line of support in the background, which is a 5-minute one. 27 minutes past now. Market timing says that we think price will reverse on the half hour. However, what we do know is if there are if price is taking money out left from previous puts, you know, from price having moved down, then it will want to pick up some of that money before moving down again. So it can sometimes just go through the half hour and carry on up for the hour. You know, there's the daily, which was at 109.976. Here's this daily, but price may say, well, I'm going to carry on up here to the, in my time, 3 a.m., especially as that's a quarter point. But I mean, I don't know that. It is wicking off that level. It does say hidden bull back there. 28 minutes past. It's at 864 on the broker. It's a put on the dollar. So the dollar's saying it's not breaking through that level. It's coming into that oversold though. And there was that move up there. So the thing we haven't got the moving average in our favor for a put. We haven't got the currency strength in our put. We have got it overbought. The RSI is still pointing up. The relative strength index is still telling you it's stronger, reflected by seeing blue bars. The stochastic, which is also momentum indicator, is already crossed down. So we've got the strength of the dollar. Dollar says I want to be somewhere. I'm going up. It is wicking off that level. Got 1 minute to go before the next call. So it's not a brilliant setup, particularly it is off that white daily. You know, this is the pressure of not wanting to get it wrong for myself. I mean, it's not for me to call trades for people. I mean, I'm telling you how I trade. So I haven't, in my view, got the perfect setup. I've got hidden bull on the dollar, so it could break completely through this on the half hour. It's not, but it has wicked off it on the 5 minute. And it is saying a put on the dollar there. So we're at 29 past. I don't know why it comes up big like that on the dollar. It seems to sort itself out and things. It's only a call score of 2. That's because it's made its move and the opposite, or you know, it's further down the candle. I was going to look at trading view 855. That's it. We've had the half hour 860. So it's 51 to 21. It's given us a put at 854. I'm reluctant to take that trade, although that is acting as a line of support and resistance. So it could well drop, but I've got 51 to 21, but it's a higher risk trade because our payout is 83%. So the broker's prepared to pay you out more because it knows that it's more, it's not so guaranteed that the broker's going to win their percentage, which would be 17%. That's why on the when it pays out at 60% and they're making 40, it's because it's kind of a safer trade. We're more likely to win, which is why the payout is lower. So you can see the candle, even though that gave us a put, we can see prices at 859. Now that doesn't mean to say it isn't going to drop. It could take the 35-minute one level time rather than the 30. We know it's not an exact science, and we can see we are in this is the dollar in real time, so we are on a 5-minute time scale in the oversold area on the dollar, but it's just dropped down up a little bit. It is saying buy, and the reason is it's struggling because it's got to break through the midline on the Bollinger Band, and there's a line of resistance there, that red line, which meets up with that red line. So it's met that level, and it's met as measured against about 6 other currencies like the euro, the krona, some other things. It's met that line, bounced off it. It did break through, but then at market open, it's opened lower. That was the put that I took, and it's got to try and, if it is still increasing in strength, it's got to break through that line of resistance, which it will do, I think, to turn it into support. Why do I think it will do that? Because I've got currency strength at 51 to 21, and so that's telling me, I always refresh this every time I come back to it, 4 bars to 1, that the dollar is stronger than the yen. So I know the dollar is gaining in strength. Come down to, it gave us a put score of 4, blue bar candle pushing up very strongly, overbought area, breaking through that red moving average, which will then turn to green. So once it's come past here, so we were correct that we had mixed signals, and it was on the half hour to stay away from just, this is where you have to do some of the fine nuances and learn some of the language and think, oh, I know I like my market timing, and I know price usually turns at 30 minutes, but we can see, it's the open of market. Price has been surfing up the Bollinger Bands. It's a strong upward trend. If you put a trend line on here, you can see it yourself. So anywhere from around here, whichever way you want to pick up, you can pick up on a trend line. Points on the bars either side, the candles. So I've got there was a break and a retest to the upside, and now it's being held very nicely. So, and there was that wick, so I wouldn't have drawn the trend lines out at that level, but even if I did that, and that is this is market open, so that's probably why. Oh, that was that wick down at market open. That's why it's broken the trend line there. But generally the trend has been up. It's carrying on up. It's surfing up the Bollinger Bands. These little red ones are the retraces back. So that's why I didn't take the trade off the half hour. And it's just 869. So I'm going to see what happens at the 35. And here it is, 873, still off that daily line though. That is a daily, that's a very strong line. If it's met with that one before, just come out to the 4 hourly. See how it used it here as support, broke back down, broke above, it was support. It's now using it again. Is it going to be this? So the current daily, this is 4 hourly candle, opened as a buy candle. It's hitting that daily line on the daily. There it is. So we had a very strong previous, very big downward trend on the dollar. Today's daily has opened as a buy. It's off that quarter theory at 109.750 level, and it's now at that 876 on the daily. So it will want to even out here the previous dailies. It will want to even out the money it's left in that level. There's money in that level in stop losses, or as traders piled in. So it could want to come up and take that out now. On the hourly, it's hitting that line as a retrace. And again on the 15-minute. But we'll stick to the 5. It is above the 200 moving average now on the 5-minute. So I don't know what level it's going to pick up here. But if it breaks through this, then it's on its way up to these daily, hourly levels at something like 109.4849. There's 2 yellows there. And it could go on up there to the hour. Now, let me put on a vertical line. So that's what we're looking at the moment. So we've had it surf up those. I'm on the 5-minute. Same as you see, same as we're looking at on HourGlass. It's formed a higher low there. We haven't got a higher high yet because that was a lower high. So lower, so higher. What's that one? Can't read that one. So it's formed a lower high there. Here we've got lower low, higher high. So we haven't got a major pivot point. We had a little one there, but this is the same as we saw on HourGlass, surfing up the Bollinger Band, retrace, surfing up, retrace, surfing up, and now crossing the 200 moving average, stuck on that, temporarily stuck in traffic at the 873 area on the half past. And it looks like therefore the 35 past is gonna, that's got 2, oh, so it's, we're into this new candle. So it's right on the Bollinger Bands. That's why it's like, as I always call it, the Dodgem car banging against the side of the fairground ride. But we've got blue bar behind. We've got our 200 moving average has turned to green, and it's wicked off that, which tells you price is still going up, which is why you would not take this trade. And you've got your currency strength 50 to 16. So even though it's overbought, these are the nuances that you learn, because the 200 moving average is measuring whatever time frame it's measuring. It'll be 200 of those bars, so it's measuring back 200 times 5 minutes, which is, maths isn't very good like that. Is that 200 times 5 is 1,000, isn't it? So it's with price weighted. It's called exponential moving average, so it's weighting it more towards current price. So this is highly accurately telling you that this is in a transitional trend change, and as price, the dollar gets stronger and moves up. The algorithm cannot read all those nuances. It doesn't mean it isn't accurate. It can only give you certain amounts of mathematics, and these are the nuances we have to layer on top. So as we see the moving average push on down, and the reason it'll push on down is because price is pushing up, and that green line will be supporting it like a rolling line of a rolling trend line, a rolling line of support and resistance. So that's what's happening on this pair at the moment, and we've got that level now of support at 845. It's drawn us a new red line there, and the dollar is also a call. It's still struggling at that midline. Oh, it's just on it there. So it's got a new line of resistance there. It's just, and that's why, you know, things get stuck when price doesn't move so much, because it's hit a traffic jam, it's hit a traffic light, and it's got to bust through, and it can sometimes take 4 or 5 punches to, you know, for it to break through. That's all that's happening when and that can happen to us when we're in a trade, that we're in a trade, it seems to be struggling along, we think, oh, but I've done all this analysis, shall I roll over or not? And that's where you have to have that confidence to press the button on the rollover, because it's simply a matter of time, you know, before it makes the move. You know, we've done all the analysis, and if you're that confident to have got into the trade, then you will do the 1 or 2 rollovers. But if it hasn't, if price hasn't moved by the time you've done 2 rollovers, you will be, any of us, not just you, one, will be too highly leveraged. Don't do a third rollover. You have to let it go. Otherwise, that's how you end up, not being in a good position on your account. 41. So I'm now waiting for the 45. Usdjpy, our 200 moving average turned to green. We've got a little, that's at 860, price is at 869. So I'm now looking for a retrace back to there, or 846, and then carry on up, but that means it'll break that EMA a little bit. It gave us a sell, cross down, that is moving down. So this is a retrace, like these little red ones here. They're more risky, and remember it's butting up against that 200 moving average, so it may well stick on that 862 level and not get any further. So again, if you got in exactly, as it happened, you might be all right on the trade, but that's a very tight channel to be trading, where it's also now going to hit that traffic there. And there's the 200 moving average off. So that's exactly the same thing you're seeing on the hourglass chart. And it's got 2 minutes 36 to go on this 5-minute candle. So it's just pressing down. It could come down, therefore. There's the 846 level on hourglass, which was a previous line of resistance. It picked it up there. That's a 15-minute line. I know that means it will have broken that 200 moving average, but remember that's a much longer, slower one to form. So anywhere in this zone, I'd prefer it to touch that. It could wick it, you see, without actually being a solid bar coming down to it, and then carry on back up to that 879 area. Price is 857. $858, so you can see right down at the level we're discussing, and our top level 879. So when you look at these different frameworks, we're just looking at a different visual of exactly the same thing. This is a 1 second tick chart, because we're just trying to trade these tiny little ticks at the end, the last 3 digits, which is the power of this system. 851. Hourglass says all the reds down to the oversold area. So again, it could struggle in this area for a while. That green could go back to red on the 200 moving average before turning. But we still know the dollar is a great deal stronger. This is our retrace. It's still struggling on that midline, the dollar. There, not quite down as low as we want because it's struggling at that level. It's stuck. And on the hourglass here, it's just want it down a little bit more. It's come down to 849. That level's 845 there. 845, that line of 15 minute. 852, 44.39. Let's see what hourglass gives us on the 45 minute. We've got 10 seconds to go. It's not quite down as far as I would like it. That's just pushing down now. 844. It's going to turn now, a new trade idea. Giving us a call. How many points? Oh, it's only a call score of 2. It's only a call score of 2. You go down to the 1 minute. I'm on the 1 minute chart, just looking to see, because that is 831. Got that line back there at 831. That's a thinner line of auto support. So I haven't pressed the button on a call myself. I did want to, but it's heading down, and I'm thinking I want So that line, so the next level down, everything we've been discussing is 822, but that is below our moving average on the 5 minute. This is the 3 minute chart. So it's broken that line. Its next level's 822. So it's off that, it didn't like that daily level, 4 rejections off. So we've got a bit of a struggle going on because it's still, what's our hourly candle look like? So you see those wicks on this blue buy, this is the hourly, wicked up to that level. And it's just 841. I'm just looking at the 1 minute. Hourglass, hang on. $841. Let's look at hourglass. Call score of 2. It is in that oversold area. 3 minutes to go. The dollars are put. The call at 844. Hasn't turned yet. It is blue. This is on the 1 minute, remember, 841. $840. Hourglass, call score of 3, 60 to 30, 5, 48, 1 minute to go. Hang on, hourglass, 846. It sticks, then it goes, but once this pair goes, you get a nice, good, solid candle move for your trade. There's our candle close. This is on the 1 minute chart at 45. It bottomed out there. So there's 46, 47, 48 on the 15 minute at 846. It called it at 844. And we're just about, so we've cleared that at 83%. No rollover required, and I'd compounded the profit from the previous trade. So you can see in, when did we start? Let me come back to the 5 minute, and there she goes back up to that daily level. So that's how you read charts. There's your hour line. It's done a retrace back. I'll put it back on the 5 minute, which is because when you're down on the 1 minute, I find you don't have to do it. Some people do, some people don't. It's your own sort of nuance on your own style of trading. It just shows you, you see, I nearly got in that for the call. Then I decided not to because we could see the candle was green and it was going down. So I switched to the 1 minute to see if it was going to bottom out. And it did turn blue. And then I thought, well, everything I've discussed, you know, although this is a bit of a tricky one because of where this 200 moving average is, but now can you see it is pushing up and now it's breaking that daily. And there's our hourly line. So price is wanting to move somewhere, probably even up to that level. It looks far away, but with UJ it can move like that. So that's how you read a chart. So if we look at where we took our trades on this session, I took a put at market open, which was using that wick because of the analysis I've done before on the higher highs and the lower highs. Then we analysed, that was a deliberate choice on my part, probably not for beginners, to take that, and it won't always work for me, so I never do a big order size on that. Then we looked at the 15-minute where I didn't take a recorded trade. I did it on a $1 trade to talk to you about analysis. So again, you see it's held this 15-minute line for the session. And then I took a trade, which I don't always do on the 45, but in my heart, I felt it's still moving up for the hour. And then I took that 45-minute trade. So I took one put, I took calls, because really this was calls. Look at that blowing up for the hour. And that's why price got stuck a bit, because it was between that daily and the 200 longer term moving average. And there it is going, and it's heading up here for the hour, is what I think is happening. So those were 3 trades. So that's 2-0 for tonight at 83%. I must say I do really enjoy the Tokyo session because I find it quiet. It's less stressful for me. It's night time for me trading it here, early hours of the morning. It's 10 to 3 a.m. here, 10 to the hour. Because I, sometimes feel there's all these people watching the London session. I think, oh no, I've got to take a trade and keep pressing the button, and everyone will go, oh wow, she can. But this is what you have to do. It's a considered analysis. Considered analysis. It's not about pressing that button, and you've got to really pick your moment, because as I say, 83% payout. At 1 or 2% of your account, and then when you've got a bigger account, that is more than enough money to withdraw and to live very comfortably, and that's all you want to be doing. You can do that from the comfort of your own home. So just wicking off that trading range it's in of 909 as it comes up to the hour 53. So it'll do a little retrace back for 55 and then head on somewhere. It's formed a new bigger auto line of support. It'll head on somewhere for the hour. Let's just see what HourGlass is telling us. So what's happened with the dollar? Still stuck on that mid-range. Still exactly stuck on UJ. There we are, bang, right, there's our moving average now turning to green with price using the moving average as its line of support. Now this may well keep spitting out put scores because it's surfing off the Bollinger Bands, and that's the algorithm saying, oh, I've hit Bollinger Bands, oh, that means I need to turn, and oh, look at that big wick back to that level. So that could be, I'm not going to take another trade, but if I was thinking about it in this, and it's not quite down at the oversold, but it's because it's on that line, that would be actually a call. I would be taking a call at 60 to 20 to 23 because it's coming up to the hour. It's on its retrace for the 5 minute. So I'd want to take a call at 846, even if it says put. Let's just see what it does. I'm not going to take it. And it's wicking off it. So as we get the last 10 seconds, this is the 5 minute before the hour retrace. Typically it's made me look an idiot, given us a put, but that's probably because of the Bollinger Bands. It has wicked off that level. Its price is at 860. Price is at 860. I don't want to take an official trade. I'm just going to do a $1 one, just to show you. We are at, this is the 55. This is the last 5 minute candle before the hour. It's been up at your 904 level with a little wick up to 910, which is that level there. That wick up to that level there. It's hitting the daily at 8 daily line. It's got to get back through that heavy traffic 875. We got in at 861. Sure enough, it gave us a put, but for everything I've outlined on this session, I would never have taken a put. The EMA has moved green to red. There she blows. It's coming up for the hour. It wants to be somewhere. It's pushing through that daily. And that's why it's dropping back a bit, because it's a strong line of support and resistance, and it's got that moving average squeezing it there at 862. So we're in that trade now, another 2 seconds, and that one's cleared. So again, I will post this one to YouTube because I think it's been quite helpful on the analysis. Certainly hope it has. So I'm going to end the session there. So that was 4 wins, no losses, but 2 of them were non-official, just $1 trades to talk about analysis. But at 83%, 2 good trades there, and compounded the profit of the first one onto the second one. Let's have a look in the chat. Oh, you're really welcome. I really hope my thousands of hours since 2018. I was so scared of it at the beginning. I did nothing with it for first 8 months, and I just in the washing machine, and I was absolutely terrified of the whole thing. I can't tell you, but it's amazing how pressing the button, even on demo, and then little $1 or 1 cent trades, really helps you grow as a person. Really helped me, you know, feel a lot calmer and more confident. It's a wonderful skill to learn. It gives you a lot of other benefits, makes you quite silently strong inside, I think, a quiet confidence. So I appreciate your time coming on as well, really do, because time's our most valuable asset, particularly, if you've got full-time jobs. So today is Wednesday, so it'll be Les doing London at 10 a.m. UTC +1, and then I will be back on for the next London session at 10 a.m. on the Thursday. So I'm going to say bye for now, and see you soon.